Hi, my name is Amanda Allen, and I'm a fifth grade teacher in Kansas City, Missouri. I attended the University of Kansas for my undergraduate degree in elementary education from 2008 to 2012. When I entered the program, it was still a 5-year program where students earned their undergraduate degree and completed half of their master courses kind of simultaneously. I graduated in 2012 and finished the master's portion of the program in 2013. Since then, I've been teaching fifth grade in Kansas City. Last spring, I decided to complete the degree that I started so many years ago in the General Curriculum and Instruction program. Choosing just one outcome and artifact to focus on was difficult because I feel like each artifact shows a different aspect of my learning throughout the program. However, I chose to focus on learning outcome 2, identities, communities, and inclusive learning contexts. The reason I want to focus on this outcome is that it is the one I am most passionate about. By completing this artifact during CNT 709, I was able to see the connection between a topic I feel is important to teach in the classroom, social justice, and the evolution of curricular theory over time. This learning outcome requires educators to reflect on their own identity and consider the ways in which our experiences impact the students in our classroom through the decisions we make. In this artifact, I did just that. This artifact shows my evolution through my waking up journey, if you will, to understand how my privilege has shaped my worldview and how that influences my interactions with my students every day. The learning outcome also asks candidates to demonstrate how they make their classroom a safe and inclusive environment to foster student learning and growth. This is another element that is outlined in my artifact. At the very beginning of the year, I prioritize activities for students to interact with each other and build positive relationships with their peers. We continue to do team building and class building activities every week throughout the year. I also believe it's important to do activities where students can share their identity and who they are with both me and their classmates. I want my students to know that I value who they are as people, both in and outside of the classroom. Another crucial step I've taken towards creating an inclusive classroom environment was to curate a classroom library that provided students with diverse options that let them see their own experiences reflected back to them, as well as books that allowed them to learn about experiences of others that are very different from their own. While constructing this artifact, I was able to reflect on how my views of teaching social justice have changed and developed through my time in the classroom. I know that courses I took during the initial 5-year program, both undergrad and graduate courses, taught about multicultural education. However, until I was fully submersed in my own classroom, I think my privilege initially blinded me to how critical these ideas were. My understanding of social justice issues in our country developed through examining a variety of resources: books, documentaries, articles, blogs, podcasts. I sought out this information so that I could be better informed about these issues before teaching my own students about them. Through this graduate program, I began to see a connection between my ideas about teaching social justice and theories and research that supported these ideas. In particular, the work of Maxine Greene and Paulo Freire seemed to reinforce the idea that students benefit from studying the world outside of the classroom and considering their role in it. Greene emphasizes the need for students to use their past experiences to construct meaning of new information they encounter. Through this process, they are able to develop an understanding of how our experiences are specific to us and can be very different than the experiences of others. This is crucial when working to understand the injustices that some people in our society face. Freire's idea is that people could be empowered to challenge the status quo in society through education was one that inspired me to take a more action-oriented approach when teaching my students about social justice. The feedback from Dr. Rocha on this artifact and all my artifacts really was incredibly helpful in pushing me to examine the connections between my experience in the classroom and what I had learned through this program. I've made thorough revisions on all of my artifacts and rationales based on the feedback I received. I believe that these modifications allowed my documents to act as even stronger evidence of my learning and growth. I've used many aspects included in this artifact in my classroom already. As discussed in the artifact itself, my students have participated in the Casey Kids Unite program for several years now. As a result of this program, I have made it a priority to include lessons that address social justice issues throughout the year. For example, I teach my students about internment camps when we cover World War II. I also include lessons about the Trail of Tears when we're learning about westward expansion. During Black History Month, my students and I spend substantial time learning about and celebrating Black Americans, many of whom they had never heard of before. In the past, my students have really enjoyed learning about their family history and thinking about how it has molded them into who they are today. They are eager to have the difficult conversations around these issues and have shown impressive maturity during these discussions. The books we have read during social justice lessons have helped students develop a better understanding of kids and families who have different experiences and perspectives. Often these texts enrich our discussions as well. The feedback I have received from parents has all been supportive and positive. Many of them have reiterated to their children the importance of learning about these issues. I know that moving forward, I will continue to incorporate social justice into my curriculum, but now I will do so with the knowledge that I've gained from this program, guiding how I approach these lessons. As I finish this program, I know I have gained invaluable knowledge that I can use in my classroom in the future. One course that I felt was incredibly beneficial for my practice was CNT 803, Differentiating Curriculum and Instruction. This course provided so many realistic tools and strategies that I felt I could immediately implement in my classroom. I felt excited after completing each assignment for this course because I couldn't wait to use it with my students and see how it went. Although we read Carol Tomlinson's entire book during this class, I would like to do further research into her works to learn more about effective differentiation. Another expert we learned about in this class was Rick Wormeli. I have already purchased his book, Fair Isn't Always Equal, about assessment and grading in differentiated classrooms, and have already started reading it. One of my goals for completing this program was to become a more effective teacher for my students. I feel that the strategies I have learned and the skills I have developed through this program will positively impact my students' learning in years to come. After the completion of this program, I plan to stay in my current position. I love teaching 5th grade and I have the most amazing teammates to work with. At my school, we have established several teams that set and work towards goals that support our school improvement plan. I'm a part of our school's climate team. Since enrolling in this program, I have taken on the responsibility of creating virtual leadership assemblies. This includes working on an assembly script, recording assembly leaders, compiling pictures and video and audio files into a final video to share with students and staff. I will not be participating in graduation events on campus due to COVID precautions, but I appreciate the opportunity to be a part of this incredible program and, as always, Rock Chalk.